Hello, friends. How are you? What? Did my voice just crack? Did you guys hear that? Weird. As a 40-something, it's weird when it happens, and it happens to me fairly often. How's things where you are? I'd love to hear from you. We're having a winter here, like a for realsies winter, like we haven't had in a while. I don't want to say since I've been a kid. That's not true. We've definitely had a few years where we've had some prolonged periods of cold and snow, but this is unusual for us. Like, especially in January, usually that happens like at the end of February or March. But we've had the kids were out all last year, all last week. They missed all last week for snow, and then Monday they were off. Yesterday they had a delay, so if you're not sure so here we have. Okay, let me start over. When I was a child, we didn't have a lot of days off, but we did when it snowed bad enough that the buses didn't run. And the way that it works here is that there are a certain number of days baked into the schedule. That's like, if we don't take these days, then we get out earlier in the year. So if we don't use any snow days, we would get out at the end of May. If we did use snow days, school might run into June. And that's still how it is. Only now, that there's more to it than that. Now, since the pandemic, we now have, they call them non-traditional learning. They had these before the pandemic too, but now they were called climate control days back then, and they were allowed to use like 2 or 3 of these as kind of like, it's too cold to send kids out to stand at a bus. It was really made for like if it's below 10 degrees or something like that Fahrenheit, then they could use these climate control days, which were not missed days. So they counted as school days, and the kids had like packets that they would do instead of going to school, and those counted as educational days. So they didn't come off of that end of year thing. And then we also have the option of doing what's called a 2-hour delay. And so that would mean, instead of going to school, my daughter is in high school, which starts at 7:20. So instead of going to school at 7:20 a.m., she would go to school at 9:20 a.m. So we had that on Monday. We had a 2-hour delay on Monday. Or no, we had no school Monday. A 2-hour delay yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, they called a 2-hour delay for today. It was supposed to be a 2-hour delay today, and then in the middle of the night, or while I was asleep, which is not the middle of the night for most people, they called it a non-traditional day. So today was a day off, but we haven't had anything like that in a very long time. And there's been snow on the ground for 2 weeks straight. Like, it's been snowy and just wintry, and I'm not exactly used to that anymore. I had a couple places to go before lunch today, and I was honestly a little bit concerned about getting my little 2-wheel drive car out. Most people here, and I mean that, most people here have 4-wheel drive vehicles. You do not see a lot of little coupe front-wheel drive cars anymore. They just don't. People don't buy them here. They're not used to it, which is funny to me because the roads are treated way better than they ever were when I was a kid, and everybody had 2-wheel drive vehicles when I was a kid. Like, 4-wheel drive vehicles were expensive and big, and people didn't want them. Subaru came along and kind of changed a little bit of that in the late 90s, but for the most part, nobody had 4-wheel drive when I was a kid. There weren't SUVs all over the place. Now, here, year round, it's just most people have 4-wheel drive. They don't even buy a car if it's not 4-wheel drive. It's weird. It's a very strange situation. But when I got up this morning, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to go to do these couple little errands because like it only snowed maybe a half an inch last night or something like that. But it was one of those snows where underneath of it was just solid ice. It was super slippery. But we did just fine. Like, when we left here, my driveway, I was almost fell out on my driveway. It was so slippery. My road hadn't been treated, and the hill that I've talked about before was treated, but not great. But we made it just fine, and by the time I came back, everything was cleared, and it was nice. Like, it's a very strange situation. So I think it's just a weird week. It's a weird week when stuff like this happens. I'm used to when my kid's here, I have a routine. I get up, I get her to school before I start work. I start work, I pick her up from school. You know, like there's this normal flow, and it's been thrown off. But that's beside the point. I got a package. A package showed up in the PO box. Haven't talked about the PO box in a while. I still have a PO box. My new PO box address is in the description of all my videos. If you ever feel the need, I'm not asking you for anything, but you know, whatever. I still do. I'll attempt to remember to show this to you. I will still do postcard exchanges if you want postcards from me. You can send me a postcard. I haven't advertised that in a very long time, but I think I liked it. I really enjoyed doing the postcard thing. So I'll attempt to remember to show you the postcard exchange. You send me a postcard, I send you one back. It's pretty simple. Yeah. So this is, I know who this is from because he told me that I had a package waiting for me. This is from California Chris. And the bag says San Diego Humor on it. I don't know what that means. I did not look it up. But let's find out together. I don't know if I'm supposed to be showing this on camera. I've always said if you send me something, I will open it on camera. Which I've had some people say they were going to send me some interesting stuff. It's never happened so far. In 9 years of doing this show, we've never had anything like that. Okay. Okay. Oh, hell yes. Yes! Look at that. That's a San Diego burrito right there. French fries and all. Have you ever had French fries in your burrito? Does that, like, blow your mind? Oh, that's fantastic. This came from California Chris. Man, I gotta... Where can we hang this? We gotta find a spot for it. I gotta maybe find a... I've been thinking about replacing the Daily Shed t-shirt sign. Did you guys know, some of you probably remember, I actually made silk screened t-shirts here in the shed. I used to sell them. But it bothers me that it's backwards. Like it doesn't, if you're popping in here and you don't know anything about me or anything about what's going on here, you don't know what this backwards freaking sign is. It's kind of stupid. I think maybe this is the new replacement for that. What do you guys think? Right back there? San Diego, California. Nice burrito. I love this. This is fantastic. Thank you, Chris. I do love a good burrito. In fact, I had a friend who's planning something. I don't know what he's planning, but he's planning something. Asked me the other day what my favorite food was, and I told him, like, I'm not really a foodie. I don't care too much about food. But every now and then I'll have a craving. But if we were to go out to eat, 100% of the time I would go to Mexican. Like, that would be my choice every single time. I love Mexican food, and I don't mean Tex-Mex. I mean, like, legit Mexican food. I love it, love it, love it. So, this is fantastic. Okay, that's all I have today. Thank you for the gift. If you want to send a postcard, please do. I'll send you one back. Yeah. Thank you for stopping by. Please like and comment, subscribe, do those things, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's 1,000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We have been learning 12 things to know before letting go. We are on number 6. What's right for you may be wrong for others, and vice versa. Think for yourself and allow others the privilege of doing so too. You need to live your life your way, the way that's right for you. This is a thing that I struggle with a little bit. I like to... I catch myself communicating for other people. Not necessarily talking for them, but I find that the way people sometimes respond to questions or whatever just doesn't make sense, and I can help them translate, and I find myself thinking that out loud, and I know that's not cool, and I need to stop doing it.